on the mic and he's ready to go. Noodle on his left, Jess on his right. Hey, hold up, don't start a fight. He's got you covered with all the sports. Don't fret, he's wearing shorts. It's time for Wake and Jake in the morning, Wake and Jake at night. Jake sucks.
Good morning, Bakers. Welcome to a special edition of Wake and Cake. I'm Cake, he's Wake. Let's get it. Couple hidden messages in this. The New York Yankees are in the playoffs. And guess what? A lot of the Wake and Cake listeners are still Yankees. So A, that gave us an option. B, I'm heading to Salt Lake City tomorrow. I'm doing my annual fantasy football golf tournament weekend. It is maybe the most guy thing remaining in my life. 12 dudes, mostly from my Dallas days, Oklahoma City. We've done a fantasy football weekend every year, past 5 years, I think. And yeah, like they've got kids popped out and stuff, so there's definitely some hairy situations, but we're kind of in the clear now. So it's funny. The first weekend we went, it was one round of golf, a scramble. This year, we'll be playing 4 rounds of golf in 3 days. So it's basically a golf retreat. The fantasy football draft has moved to Saturday morning. Ooh. We're doing eggs in the draft and then playing a round of golf. So that shows...
Which day is the double day?
Friday. Friday's a double day. There's a 2-man tournament and a different 4-man tournament. So it's kind of pathetic. It's kind of beautiful, man. I love it. I mean, a couple guys have like 2 kids now and stuff. But it's a good getaway. I think it's like my annual getaway in golf. So I'm excited to do that. I am more excited about the Nueva York Yankees. BBD's Yankees go into first place yesterday. Man, what's the best? We've got a lot of things we can cover, BBD. What's the best screenshot? That might not be the best way to phrase it. Not like a talking shit screenshot. But I think I saw one post that was August. It was like July 17th to August 17th. And I think it was Red Sox were up 8 games, and now Yankees are technically up / tied.
Was
that's the 10 games.
I think it was either that's when they were 9 back in the loss or 10.5 back of Boston total. I believe that July 6th was the low point.
If you have no idea.
Or at least that's a date that Yes Network's been throwing out there
right.
for when they started winning.
Yeah, and I think the Yanks were right around 500. They were like 41
They were
41
and 41 at one point. I think at the exact halfway point of the year, they were 41 and 40.
So if you have no idea, and maybe it's the fake game of the night, new segment on the show, Yankees and Red Sox played 2 yesterday in the Bronx. Red Sox were 2 games up on the Yankees. Fun story going on for the Yankees. Gleyber Torres still out. Andrew Velasquez, kid from the Bronx, has been playing a lot of shortstop along with Tyler Wade, who's been playing really well for the Yankees. He got a big 2 RBI single to get the scoring started off in Game 1. Monty threw a terrible 0-2 pitch to Xander Bogaerts. 2 RBI single, made it 2-2. Christian Vasquez, man, every time he plays the Yankees, he makes an impact. 3-2 in the 5th in a 7-inning game. We're playing 7-inning doubleheaders. Man, Luke Voit with a huge broken bat single. The Yanks finally get to Garrett Whitlock. He had the walks big time, and then they brought in Josh Taylor. Because guess what? The Yankees have balance now, so you have to use a bullpen differently, which seems like really obvious stuff that we've kind of been saying, but it's actually coming to fruition.
We convinced ourselves it didn't matter because the Yankees just kept telling us it didn't. We're like, all right, well, they know.
We brainwashed ourselves, and Giancarlo Stanton comes in, a pinch hit 116 mile per hour, 3-0 RBI single, makes it 5-3 Yanks. They hold Johnny Lasagna for 2 innings. It got a little hairy. What was it, bases loaded, 1 out?
I think bases loaded, 1 out.
Bases loaded, 1 out, and he gets out of it. He shows a ton of emotions.
He's down. Was it bases loaded when he was down 3-0?
3-0 in the count.
TK.
And he came back top of the Red Sox lineup. So that was huge. And then again, it was a double dip in the Bronx, so double fake game of the night. And he clicks the same box score, so it's tough to tell you. I will tell you, Luis Gil, rookie for the Yankees, BBD. People need to be talking about this guy.
I think now that it's 3 games without giving up an Ernie.
Luis Gil, 3 MLB starts. He's yet to give up an earned run, this time against the Red Sox. He only goes 4.2 because he had the walks a little bit, but Wandy Peralta, who's been lights out recently, comes in and saves him. Luke Nuke Nukem, Joe's McFly, and Giancarlo Stanton, 441 to left center. 2 solo homers, and that's the only scoring in the game. The Yankees sweep the double dick. They are in second place in the American League East. They would technically have a home wild card game if the standings ended today.
If today was the wild card game, they would be hosting Oakland.
We had conversations if the Yankees were going to be sellers at the deadline. And then they made big moves. Gallo, Rizzo. Rizzo hasn't been here for now 10 days now. I think he's going to be back today.
He's played less than 10 games as a Yankee.
Gary Sanchez has been out on the COVID list. Cole and Monty basically missed 2 starts each with the COVID IL. These Yankees have been playing.
Gio's been out all of August.
I think we have tempered. And by the way, Chad, I see you. I see you, Fayao, Michael, Michelle, William, Roger, Travis, Alex, Ruby. All you guys are the best. Sneaking in on a Wednesday morning. Whoops. The Yankees are now real. And I know they've kind of been, and sometimes we run a tricky line with the Yankees. We're obviously fans, which can be good and bad sometimes. It's kind of like your kids. You're tougher on them, and you probably also get more hyped about them if they win the spelling bee. The Yankees have been winning baseball games for a while. A while now.
Because, I mean, even when it was bad and they were 500 halfway through the year, but it's still not as bad as like what a bad team experiences. It's like expectations, reality stuff.
Right.
So they still like did their job winning some series early in the year.
Their worst moment was being halfway through the season and being 500, which a lot of teams often have a lot worse moments than that.
A lot of teams, I think, game plan on that and hoping they can turn it on second half, which the Yankees did,
or
are doing in the process of doing.
That'd be a pretty good day for me. So the New York Yankees are back, and BBD, I think the other big thing that's involved in this, and it's where baseball is brutal. And hey, right now, Baseball Reference still has the Yankees as a 48% shot to make the postseason.
Coin flip.
That number feels kind of wrong with recent Yankee baseball. What's
I
this
think
streak?
I think in general the Baseball Reference playoff odds have been more pessimistic than the Fangraphs ones.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I think the Yankees are 18-5 in their last 23 games, something like that. If you stretch it out to All-Star break, I mean,
I think heading into yesterday, maybe between games, they were 15-5 over 20.
22-9 since the All-Star break. The Yankees are real. The Yankees are real. They are back in the mix. And BBD, I think the other thing that's really important, the Chicago White Sox and the Houston Astros, they've been the cream of the crop, along with the Tampa Bay Rays, which they're a whole nother conversation. We'll talk about the Rays in a minute. Do you know their records, BBD?
Offhand?
Tough question. Not. White Sox are 70-50. Astros are 70-49. They're 2 games better than the Yankees this year.
Huh.
What had felt like an awful
Yankees
Yankee
going 5-1
season.
against the White Sox this year helps, but that's all part of it.
It's all part of it.
4-2 against Astros.
What had felt like an awful Yankee season now has them as one of the more exciting teams. I mean, there's arguments in Yankees Twitter about how do we feel about these Yankees team, and that's with baseball. It could be gone in a week, or we could be running even hotter. But I'll say this. 2017, we said it during, we knew that would never be replicated. The Yankees had no expectations. They were young. They were fun. It was wild. It was a good time. And they went 7 games in the ALCS.
I don't know if ever again in my life I'll see the Yankees catch the world by surprise.
I don't think so.
Again.
I don't think so. Judge, 53 homers? 52, 53?
52 feels like the number. So Googleable.
That was a crazy year. It was an insane year. It won't be replicated.
52.
52. 50. This team, I think the only part that Yankees Twitter is forgetting is that 2019 was really fun. The Red Sox won it all in 2018. The Yankees came back in 2019, and that was kind of supposed to be like their year.
That was 2017. Because expectations were so low by the time you got to the playoffs, there was a team of destiny feel. 2019 is when it really felt like that.
It was the Yankees. It
felt like, oh, it's finally our turn.
They won a ton of series. They won 103 games, something like that. Like that Yankees season was a lot of fun because the year before, 2018, the Red Sox were really good.
The Red Sox were so good, like there wasn't a hope for the division.
That was the first year of new Yankees punting games down 2 and stuff. So we were pulling our hairs out.
Expectations.
We were pulling our hairs out. We were saying, how can Boone and company do this?
First time Judge got hurt.
So it'll be interesting. The Yankees are now tied. They're 5 games back, as are the Red Sox. They play one more game today, and Andrew Heaney's on the bump, so we could be sad in a couple of hours. We'll see.
We're doing a lot of peacocking for one.
The Heen
one
dog.
Game being able to
he
change
does have
everything.
a bullpen somewhat behind him today. Not fully, but kind of.
Yeah, you have multi-inning options behind.
You have guys,
so you can kind of cut. You can cut
his
the
last
cord.
2 starts. It was you're throwing 85 pitches no matter what. He might not have that today.
No, it's okay.
Maybe not
if
knowing
you can clear
that.
4 innings. We're happy.
Could even help him. So I talked about the White Sox. I talked about the Astros, and if we're talking about the American League and who's going to the playoffs, a lot of baseball. Guys, the Rays are sick. The Rays are the only American League team with a winning percentage in the 6s, 608.
For the full season.
Only team. Not Houston, not the White Sox. We talk about how much the White Sox division sucks. The Rays have the Yankees, Red Sox, and Blue Jays. They're 73 and 47. They just do it. I hope, and this is where Jimmer is tough on them, and he's right as of now. It's never worked in October. I do think that's a tough loophole. I mean, expansion team.
Once it does work, it works.
They made the World Series last year, and they went 6 games with a Dodgers team that was like
all world,
an all-powerful Dodgers team.
That's kind of better, by the way.
And they could have. By the way, they were up in Game 6, and they did. And this is part of Jimmy's argument, which is fair. I mean, they
their
did their Rays philosophy that hasn't been proven in October, especially this year. Pitchers are going to be worn out, especially bullpen guys. We're already seeing that around the league. So I don't know. I'm interested to see if the Yankees or Sox can scare the Rays. 5 games back. We didn't think the Yanks were going to be able to scare the Red Sox this year, and now they're already even. It's August 18th.
It can move quick.
It
can swing back quick.
It can move quick. It could also not. I mean, that's where the Rays are just absolute sickos. And I'm looking at their schedule. They've got 2 more with Baltimore. They play the White Sox, which is fun. 2 with the Phillies, and then Baltimore again. So, in this next spree, it's not like they're going to do bad. They can't. There's 5 Baltimore games in a 10-game stretch.
They're not going to go below 500 over
you almost
their
can't.
next 10.
Couldn't if you wanted to. Then they go Red Sox. So they've got a Red Sox spree. That'll be interesting. And they finish the year with the Yankees. 3 games. That's going to be interesting. Hopefully. Or it might
It'd be
not
cool.
be. It could not be.
It'd be cool if that matters. And the White Sox did just take care of business against Oakland for the Yankees a little bit.
Right.
Which, so they're capable of it.
And Oakland's still in the mix. Toronto, they're 4 games back of the Red Sox and Yankees now, and Oakland. Right now, there's going to be 2 teams. I've been saying this for a little bit. There's going to be 2 teams that really wanted to make the playoffs that aren't, between the Blue Jays, Red Sox, Yankees, and A's. I mean, if you had to bet today, let's be honest, and maybe this is just total baseball East Coast homerism, you're betting against the Jays and A's.
Certainly, you bet against the Jays.
You bet against the Jays. That's the number one.
They've never even gotten
The
there.
Athletics have been around the past few years. They do deserve more credit.
A's and Red Sox are kind of the coin flip, but the Yankees, I think, at this point, are the team you would, if you said pick one of those teams that's gonna make it, I think you pick the Yankees.
And I've been making the new New York Yankees joke, and there is bias, BBD. We're fans, and you could say that, but you can also
It's
say
the team I watch.
Joey Gallo's there. He's a top 3 outfielder in the American League this year. That's just a fact. Anthony Rizzo's there. He's one of the better first basemen
Hasn't for
in
2
baseball.
weeks, but
Don't know-
general is here.
Don't know how you grade him, on your top first baseman schedule, but you can't argue about who he is. He's Anthony Rizzo. Luke
Been
Voigt
part of a lot of winning.
had been out all season for the most part. He's back. He's swinging it okay. Who knows how he slots in? If he slots in as your 8th hitter, that could be the best
Your
8th
Death
hitter
Star
in the
lineup.
American
I
League.
think they're going Death Star lineup today with Heaney.
That'd be pretty cool, BBD. That'd be pretty cool.
They've given Judge 2 DH days out of the last 3 because I think he's going to play center today.
So I think
I've gotten excited.
that's where things do get pretty interesting, man. I mean, the Yankees can put out
Guardy's
a stacked lineup, and the pitching depth. I think this is what gets really interesting, and we'll see. So much is going to change come October 3rd. I think that's the last day of the regular season. We laid it out on paper. The Yankees have a lot of pitchers right now that wouldn't be on their playoff rotation that have been big parts of this year. And it's, what do you do with Luis Hill? You know who he just passed for rookie shutout innings in Yankees history? Jabba Chamberlain. That's a name that sparks something in Yankee fans, huh? What the hell do you do with him? Steven Ridings was up a couple days. He throws a hunch with a wipeout slider. Does he make it? Lucas Lickey's been incredible for the Yankees this year.
Such a
How about this?
consistent presence.
Look at your lefty pitching Yankees pool. Nestor Cortez Jr. has been lights out for them. Nothing but can start and relieve.
He's been in every role. Every role.
Lucas Lickey has been lights out all year, like a high leverage reliever for the Yankees this year.
He had 2 weeks of. He gave up a couple runs in June, and he kind of just had like a 2-week run here, and
Lights out.
The rest has been more than acceptable. Very good.
2-week run in Baseball Savant guy they traded for Wandy Peralta, who had a huge moment in yesterday's game.
Last couple games.
I think the last 2 weeks, I think they posted his stats. I think it's like 9.2 shutout.
He's come into a couple bases loaded.
Huge spots.
Bases loaded. We need this out here.
The guy who's best against lefties, Joely Rodriguez, he just got out Shohei Ohtani in a big spot.
Shohei's 0 for 3 Ks against him.
He's
now.
got your best lefty numbers. So when you're talking playoff rotation in a spot,
There's a lane for him.
and this kind of doesn't include like Luis Hill, Corey Kluber, Sevy looking like he's on the outs now. If there was somehow miracle news with him tomorrow. Steven Ridings.
And so he comes. Presumably, he'd have to be a reliever now, but he's been good at that in the past. If he can just air it out for 20 pitches.
So now
Corey Kluber exists, and he'd be a bonus
Corey
piece.
Kluber exists. He threw a no-hitter earlier this year.
Playoff experience. He was good
And
when he pitched this year.
If Corey Kluber looks good, which, that means different buckets for different things, and you're talking about a playoff baseball game, and this is so rude to my guy who's been awesome this year. If it's Kluber or Nestor with the season on the line, you kind of have to lean
Pitched
Kluber.
in a World Series.
Get that arm loose in the pen, Nestor, if we need you.
Yeah. That's you're on the roster.
So, and let's spin this back to previous Yankee teams. We've come into, 2020 playoffs with Cole, and we were hoping for Monty. Cole and Tanaka. Cole in playoff Tanaka was our hope, and Tanaka had a bad playoffs. We got one nice start out of Monty.
He had his worst playoff performances.
Yes, he did.
Not that the numbers are acceptable.
Right. Jameson Taillon has been absolutely shoving. Like, gross.
Yeah. Even during the stretch and with winning pitcher, somehow it's still not talked about.
Best pitcher in baseball for almost 2 months now.
He looks like a guy who was picked second in the draft in between Harper and Machado. Or whichever was Harper. Was that the Harper year?
I think so. Around there.
Is somebody else who you're thinking of as a number one pick?
So, the Yankees, who have been dead in the water / Yankee fans have been getting crap for, being excited about nothing. Like, oh, you guys are excited, you're still 8 games out. Playoffs start today, they'd be hosting a home wild card game.
Against the A's, who they never win those.
It's a little bit of history there.
You just, don't be scared of them.
Can they try to hunt down the Rays? Here's my hope, is that they make, this sounds so dumb, but they make that their mission. Because they got good juice right now. Like I said, what was it, 22 and 8 or something? I assume they've got
at least 8 games left against them.
Motivation is a funny thing in sports. How many times in baseball do you see a team win the big series and then they have the follow-up series they drop or whatever? If the New York Yankees can keep rolling 22-9, 710 winning percentage since the All-Star break, man, I don't know. When I am so interested, because obviously there's Yankee fandom here. We've addressed it the whole time. When the playoffs start, the Yankees might not be in it, but things are looking good. Things are trending up. Where do they really land? Because, again, the Rays are just a tough sell. It's never fully happened. They were in the World Series last year. A couple of their big pieces that were there aren't. Morton and Snell.
They're clearly their top-down organizational philosophy is they are built for 162, and playoffs are kind of a crapshoot.
It's a nightmare series for any team to play the Rays, but
you're not going to enjoy facing them.
If the White Sox or Houston matched up against them on paper this year, you're taking the White Sox or Houston. White Sox or Houston. That's going to be interesting. White Sox probably have better talent. Houston has the experience. Flip a coin there.
And it's not better talent by that much if you really
line it's up. Baseball. And that's where the New York Yankees, if Cole is going, which he has been, and he just got a little extra rest, Taillon, who's been incredible, what are we saying about him come October 3rd? If he continues at this pace, we're going to be saying really good things. Jordan Montgomery has been pretty good for a while now. He just got some extra rest. And then is it a Kluber? Is it Nestor? Is it Luis Gil, who's been
Is it just
superhuman?
You roll with that group and stack your bullpen? Because we talked about how you're going to probably have to omit somebody you've been thinking about would get playoff innings.
And this is where I've given Houston a ton of love. I've given the White Sox a ton of love. Gary Sanchez is an elite hitting catcher.
The tools have always
put his numbers next to Real Muto. You can knife him different ways. Gary's offensive numbers are there.
On a career level.
Anthony Rizzo. Do what you want with that. You want postseason, you want regular season, you want offense, you want defense, he's there. DJ LeMahieu. Even this year's version of DJ LeMahieu, I still think that's like a top 10 second baseman.
It's still an unpleasant at bat.
He's climbing. Yeah, that's not a guy the other team wants to see in the box.
If he's the guy that's their break.
Yeah.
No. And he's hot.
Glaber, Gio, those are interesting conversations for another day. Hell, throw Rougned Odor in the mix. He's been pretty nice this year.
2 of 3.
But by the way, Glaber Torres has a 38-homer season in the bag.
38-homer season in the bag and was hot.
Gio Urshela can be a two-way player that can ruin a game for you. Absolutely ruin a game for you. We'll see. Rugi is kind of the same. Can ruin a game for you.
Ruin a game.
He can do a lot.
You don't want to throw a mistake to him.
Judge and Gallo are 2 top 3 outfielders in the AL this year. Those are numeric based. and career-based, kind of.
Their top 15 position players in baseball. I don't know what preferences and all that. But
Brett Gardner's been really good lately.
if he's coming off the bench for you.
Giancarlo Stanton has played outfield and is one of the biggest threats in baseball, constantly.
Has one of the most
And the numbers are
obvious
fine.
MVP years in recent memory.
And so if you go Guardy outfield, you got Stanton at DH, cool. If you go Death Monster outfield, Gallo, Judge, and Stanton, you have Luke Voit DHing, who was your MLB leader in homers last year.
Top 10 MVP guy last year.
So, who knows what it looks like and feels like come October. But holy smokes, guys. Take the Yankees seriously. If you take the White Sox in Houston seriously, they are 2 games better than the Yankees this season, who have been playing Yankees baseball for a month.
For close to 6 weeks of
Other teams
really
were
good.
laughing at them for 3 months, 4 months.
And their record against those 2 teams that are the cream of the crop of the division, they've taken care of business. They've taken care of business against them. They've shown they know how to beat them. The Astros losses have both been devastating, and I guess the one White Sox loss was pretty devastating. Field of Dreams stuff, whatever.
Right.
And you think about like what the Yankees the last few years have been built around more than anything. Obviously, lineup of mashers, but the bullpen, and that's kind of the group that's the biggest question right now. And ultimately, they're gonna get guys back. Someone else is gonna get hurt.
Sure. Guys get it.
But I mean, Zach Britton has a long career of being one of the most dominant closers ever. He hasn't been good.
Yeah.
He's been really bad, but he's a guy with a resume. You believe in him to figure it out by the playoffs. His numbers are not going to look good this year.
Unless that one
Straight
guy's
up.
at the plate.
Yes.
Then I'm going to lean that other guy.
And then Aroldis Chapman, he had the worst month I think I've ever seen. He had the best 6 weeks to start the year, wiped it away in a month. And people are talking about how he's just been bad since then. I mean, he had like 2 weeks. He was like good again.
Yeah.
Like
The numbers were good.
Not
It didn't
dominant.
feel as good, but the numbers
He put
were
you in some jams, but he's been getting the job done, and then he got
Which,
hurt.
again, you see Chad Green, you see Zach Britton, you see even Johnny Laza closing. Well, not Johnny Laza anymore. Johnny Laza's made the jump. But you see Chad Green and Britton closing, and then you compare that to Chapman, and you're like,
It's just a different level. So they have guys that you believe in to figure it out. They have other guys coming back.
BBD,
We haven't said Clay Holmes' name. He's been good.
That's one of your playoff
Is he
roster
gonna come
crunches
back?
right now. He's been
is he gonna
incredible
make a
with the
playoff team?
Yankees.
They like ground ball guys.
Guys, we got to start doing the tighten up a little bit. It's a big day, so I'm going to bring it to the comment of the day. The chat's rolling. Amanda B., Alex Goldberg. Something that was just making me laugh was someone with the YouTube name Buster Posey just said, by the way, I'm still a Yanks fan, but I effing love Buster. So, I mean, that's living, man. That's just life. Saw Maddie Malin in here, took a picture with her the other day. Comment of the day from last episode, there's a couple fun ones in here. Lavender Lemonade said, cool to hear you mention Fuzzy's Indians. John Boy Media's discussions and Fuzzy's daily recaps were both instrumental to bringing me into the sport. With the phone call we had earlier today, that comment makes me laugh even more. Thank you, Lavender Lemonade. And then Jake Hawes, they're goosing them. King, big, big dong.
They're goose and sail.
I rewatched episodes 1 and 2 of season 2, I Think You Should Leave, and I think that show may be its best the second time through. Because you know the main jokes that are coming, but you can also pick up on more of the little
they're
ones.
goosed.
My God.
I understand why it can't be you, troll boy, right?
You know.
You get it.
Thank you guys. It was also a perfect game last episode. 107 likes, no thumbs down. Make a comment, leave a like, tell a friend, subscribe. 372 on the channel. Flew past 369. Whoops. Sorry about it, BBD. Quick fake bro of the night, Luis Hill. We just talked about him. He's a rookie, 3 starts, hasn't given up an earned run. New York Yankees. That's the real stuff right there. BBD, you got one?
It's a Yankees episode. Luke Voigt, really good. People talking about he needs to not play. He's done the most to help winning the last 3-4 games.
Yeah.
He's had probably the biggest WPA plays, win probability added. He's passed some quotes that, like, I don't know, if you want to be rude, you can take him the wrong way and say he's like being a baby about the Rizzo stuff, but also it's just like honest. Like he just wants to play and wants to help. And he rightfully thinks he deserves a chance.
And man, how about
Talk about turning it on at the right time.
how's your quotes? You know, he's talking about how he finished top 10 in the MVP last year and how he wants to play and he knows Rizzo's good, but he knows he's
not
good.
about Rizzo.
I deserve to play just as much as he does. Boogity, boogity, booty. Pump that in my veins. And shout out to my guy Max Goodman, who does some SI stuff and he bounces around. Yankees are 13-4 in August. Luis Hill, we mentioned him, 0 ERA, 3 starts, 15.2 innings. Wandy Peralta, 8.2 innings, 0 ERA. Albert Abreu, 10 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. Tyler Wade, 13 for 28. He's been playing shortstop, outfield, wherever you put him. So the little guys are doing it. The big guys are doing it. Yankees are fun. Guys, so much stuff on the John Boy.
Gardner Voigt platoon
Oh, my
situation that
God.
could be coming.
Guys, so much stuff on the John Boy Media Network. Talking Nets, The Compound, Ian Happ, Mansplain Baseball, JJTV. We're playing, babe. JJR coming up in a little bit. Talking baseball, electric episode. Huge scheduled pod today. Go listen to that if you're interested in Padres, Reds, and Yankees, Astros, Rays. Everyone's playoff schedule. The Mets, oh boy. Oh boy. Talking Yanks. We're going live tonight.
Farm to Fame.
Farm to Fame,
Talking
yeah.
Giants is every day.
Every day. You guys are the best. Thank you for letting me do this. Let's have a huge weekend.
Shea Station.
Shea Station. Listen to some emotions there. I love you guys.